They like the dress look like this, the dog, the horse, and with the white horses with the horse-drawn carriage. The daddy charm shit just looks familiar, and I'm looking at it. I know I had sent it to you, and I was like, in the colors, and I was like, am I tripping or did? And then it wasn't even nothing until she was like, the greatest pull-up ever. I'm calling this out. These games,
right?
Then you get overlooked, and even the girls that played them games, right? You know, I'm just gonna say Cardi because that's just she played them games.
Right.
Whatever you want to say.
That's crazy.
Then you're not getting no airplay, or you gotta go sell your soul. And she did all that, right? And she got on. So, fuck him, I'm gonna get some. Like she was the rat, like whatever. And now she has 3 kids, and now she's like, I don't even want to be that no more. And guess what? Now she's not making music. We've seen each other. We've had words. And in this long conversation, I had to remind her of these instances that I guess, you know, her memory is clouded by whatever that she's doing at the moment, and how she like was disrespectful at the very, very beginning of her career. And yeah, there were some instances, and she was not a nice girl.
Can we pull up the stuff? Let's pull it up first, and then let's share the screen. So you guys have been having some work.
When Hazel E brought up Cardi B in that attention-grabbing interview, it wasn't just an offhand comment. It was the ignition point for an old tension to resurface. Beneath her words lay years of quiet rivalry, bold accusations, and what seemed like a carefully guarded secret that Cardi had kept tucked away, possibly waiting for the right moment to reveal. This wasn't ordinary celebrity gossip. It quickly transformed into a high-stakes dispute, with private conversations surfacing and timelines buzzing with speculation. What seemed like a quick reference soon unraveled into a storm of revelations, exposing past frustrations and long-held emotions that had gone unspoken for far too long. But this drama wasn't just about event planning or creative similarities. It opened up a more serious and often overlooked question about the pressures women face in the highly competitive and demanding hip-hop industry. To many viewers, Hazel's remarks weren't just personal jabs. They were seen as efforts to question another woman's rise, challenge the authenticity of her success, and perhaps settle lingering feelings from the past. What followed was a chaotic, very public chain of events that made it clear this wasn't a surface-level issue. It had deep roots and real emotional weight. So buckle up, because what looked like a casual name drop soon grew into a headline-dominating story. And the deeper you dig, the clearer it becomes. This isn't just about style choices or ranking on the charts. It's about long-standing conflicts, hidden feelings of comparison, and what it really takes to thrive under the constant pressure that comes with fame. Everything started when Hazel E began sharing her perspective on what she described as the hidden challenges women regularly encounter while trying to find lasting success in the music business. She pulled back the curtain on issues many don't talk about, like the constant need to maintain a specific image, behave in carefully curated ways, and navigate a world where talent alone often isn't enough to move forward. Hazel described the reality for many female artists as one filled with exhausting pressure and quiet sacrifices. According to her, the journey to recognition isn't just about making great music. It's also about adapting to expectations that can feel unfair, uncomfortable, or even dehumanizing. She suggested that these subtle but powerful demands can leave women feeling like they're losing control over their own careers and identities. Then the interview shifted sharply in tone. Hazel stopped speaking in general terms and homed in on a specific example, Cardi B. What had started as a broader commentary on industry challenges suddenly became very personal. Hazel didn't hold back. She accused Cardi of embracing the very system she was now distancing herself from. In her view, Cardi had fully stepped into a heightened public persona early on, one designed to attract attention and fast-track her popularity. Hazel implied that Cardi had willingly leaned into that narrative, possibly accepting situations that placed her in a compromising light, all for the sake of getting noticed by the mainstream. But once she reached major success, Hazel claimed, Cardi began pulling away from that same image, slowing her music output and retreating from the approach that continues to shape other artists' careers. Rather than painting it as a single situation, Hazel framed her claims as evidence of a larger issue still active in the music industry today. She spoke of a recurring pattern. Women are urged to perform a certain type of femininity to stand out, but once they achieve visibility or change direction, they face criticism or feel abandoned by the system that once praised them. However, by calling out Cardi B directly, Hazel took her critique from a general industry observation to a bold personal statement. What could have been a commentary about systemic challenges suddenly became a direct challenge to Cardi's story. In doing so, Hazel didn't just express concern, she made a pointed accusation. And with that, the foundation was laid for a public showdown that no one could ignore. This ongoing tension didn't suddenly materialize. It's been building quietly for years. The underlying friction between Hazel E and Cardi B stretches back to their early appearances on Love and Hip Hop, the reality show that helped launch numerous music and television careers. Before the viral interview put their issues back in the spotlight, there were already signs of underlying resentment. One of the first moments where things turned noticeably sour? An unexpected clash centered around something as innocent as a themed birthday event. Several years back, Hazel E accused Cardi B of borrowing the concept she had used for her own child's extravagant celebration. Hazel had organized a fairy tale-style gathering, complete with elegant gowns, a decorative carriage, and all the details of a storybook princess affair. So when Cardi later hosted a very similar birthday for her daughter Culture, Hazel saw it as more than coincidence. She didn't keep her thoughts private. She shared them publicly in interviews and online posts, suggesting that Cardi had mirrored her party concept, but chose not to acknowledge it, perhaps feeling she had outgrown those she once filmed alongside. What could have been dismissed as a light-hearted misunderstanding quickly revealed much deeper feelings. The strong emotion in Hazel's responses, how often she mentioned it, and the tone she used when doing so, hinted that this was about more than party decor. It pointed to unresolved issues and a long-standing emotional divide. Both Hazel and Cardi began their journeys from the same platform, building careers from the exposure Love and Hip Hop provided. Yet while Cardi eventually became an international music icon, Hazel's path stayed within a more niche audience. That difference in public visibility, two artists starting from similar beginnings, but landing in drastically different positions, can stir internal comparisons. Over time, those comparisons may evolve into difficult emotions, like disappointment or bitterness. What Hazel expressed through her frustration about the birthday party theme seemed to reflect a broader feeling of being passed over. It wasn't about decorations, it was about recognition. By the time Hazel's recent comments resurfaced, it was clear this wasn't a sudden argument. It was just the latest chapter in a story of rivalry that had quietly been developing for years. As the drama surrounding Hazel's interview began to build momentum, a new twist emerged that pulled even more attention toward Cardi B. A short video began circulating online showing NFL player Stefon Diggs, who had recently been seen in Miami with Cardi, interacting with several women aboard a private boat. The detail that caught everyone's attention? Reports suggested Cardi was present on that same vessel during the filming of the clip. At first glance, it appeared to be just another celebrity moment. But the tone shifted quickly when viewers claimed the footage showed Diggs holding a small pouch, with internet commentators speculating it contained a pink-tinted substance. This immediately sparked rumors, with many linking the mysterious pink powder to the kind of nightlife behavior often discussed in tabloid stories involving celebrities. The phrase pink powder is frequently tied to whispered speculation about elite parties in Hollywood and beyond, particularly those involving music executives like Diddy, where unusual substances and chaotic scenes are rumored to occur. Although no one made a direct accusation involving Cardi B, her presence in that space, paired with the rising attention on Hazel's pointed remarks, created a snowball effect of online chatter and suspicion. Suddenly, Cardi found herself connected, at least by rumor, to a narrative she had no control over, and one that could be incredibly damaging to her reputation. The fact that her name was even tangentially linked to the situation, regardless of whether she had anything to do with what people claimed to see, was enough to push the story into viral territory. For Cardi, already dealing with personal accusations from Hazel, this added another headache. Speculation fueled not by evidence, but by proximity and bad timing. And as the conversation spread, the lines between fact, rumor, and assumption began to blur. Cardi B wasn't about to stay silent. After Hazel E's interview lit up social media, Cardi's fiery reaction came through a series of private messages Hazel quickly made public. The tone, unapologetically intense. Cardi came out swinging with a firm command. "Stop bringing up my name." She didn't just shut down the speculation, she confronted Hazel head-on. Refuting Hazel's most pointed allegation, Cardi clarified, "I've never said anything about you. And I never got ahead in this business by being with any artist or executive." She emphasized that the only man she'd ever dated in the industry was Offset, her husband. In a sharp twist, Cardi brought up the old argument over party themes. "You really think I took anything from you? That's just bitter energy." Her messages painted Hazel as someone who keeps dragging her into conversations for clout or attention. Cardi positioned herself not as someone guilty of anything, but as someone tired of being targeted by someone holding on to long-standing resentment. The message was clear. It was enough, and she wasn't going to let the narrative go unchallenged. Cardi didn't just stop at denying Hazel's accusations. She revealed something quite serious. She reminded everyone of a frightening situation Hazel E experienced during a cosmetic procedure in Turkey, saying, "I actually asked my surgeon to help you when you were in danger." This was a direct reference to Hazel's reported medical emergency while undergoing surgery overseas, and Cardi positioned herself as someone who stepped in to assist when things took a turn for the worse. This added a new dimension to the conflict, showing Cardi not only defending herself, but also highlighting a moment where she offered support. But then Cardi's words took a harsher tone. She expressed her view of Hazel's behavior, saying, "I understand why bad things keep happening to you. You're acting with malice and strange energy." This wasn't simply a defense, it became a sharp personal critique. Cardi accused Hazel of fixating on people she barely knows and suggested that her own difficulties stem from her negative attitude and how she treats those around her. With these remarks, the disagreement went beyond professional rivalry and entered a much more intense and personal territory. Cardi didn't hold back as she pushed back hard against the jealousy accusations. She firmly rejected the idea that influential industry figures like KSR had supported her early career, making it clear they only took notice after her breakout hit, Bodak Yellow, soared to #1. They didn't start showing up until after Bodak blew up. Cardi highlighted that her rise was authentic and rooted in respect from peers, adding, "I was invited personally by Remy Ma." She then turned the tables, painting Hazel as nothing more than a fan regurgitating online gossip, rather than speaking from experience. Cardi accused Hazel of harboring bitterness despite having her own accomplishments, saying, "You have everything and yet you're still miserable," throwing shade at women who have never done anything to you. This was Cardi's way of asserting her position firmly while portraying Hazel as an insignificant figure obsessed with negativity rather than success. Hazel E fired back in the private messages with a pointed and controversial remark. "I'm a fan, and you are the reason for another black man's downfall." This was an obvious reference to the rumors surrounding Stefan Diggs and the video from the boat, attempting to connect Cardi to negative impacts on black men linked to her circle, likely alluding to Offset's well-known challenges in the past. Cardi immediately responded with a sharp rebuttal. "What downfall of another black man? My baby daddy has a strong, thriving career, and my new guy is still active in the league and set to have a great season. So, who exactly is falling?" She defended both Offset's ongoing success and Diggs' professional standing, firmly dismissing Hazel's suggestion. Despite Cardi's firm reply, this back and forth showed that she had fully stepped into the intense and complicated argument that Hazel seemed eager to provoke. So, what was the real motivation behind all this? Many observers viewed Hazel E's initial remarks and the subsequent release of private messages as a deliberate move to regain the spotlight, provoking the far more prominent Cardi B into a public confrontation that was sure to spark headlines and viral conversations online. Cardi, fiercely protective of her hard-earned reputation and career, took the bait with full force. The underlying tension is clear. Hazel E's resentment toward Cardi's meteoric rise after their shared start on Love and Hip Hop is almost tangible, stretching from the dispute over a birthday party theme to the most recent personal allegations. This conflict brings to light the difficult question Hazel first raised, now overshadowed by bitter personal feelings. Does the music industry still demand women conform to exaggerated, overly sexualized images or engage in compromising behaviors to succeed? Cardi strongly rejects that this was her route, emphasizing her talent and opportunities. Hazel, on the other hand, suggests the problem is widespread, holding Cardi up as a prime example. Meanwhile, the public spectacle of two successful black women openly clashing, exposing private struggles like the surgery incident in Turkey and stirring rumors involving pink coke and other past controversies, forces us to consider the true price of fame today. Is this a genuine ideological disagreement, or simply the latest chapter in hip-hop's reality-based drama designed to capture attention and fuel online engagement? Cardi B's intense rebuttals and unexpected disclosures offered a powerful counter to Hazel E's ongoing critiques, and what many saw as a calculated attempt to provoke a reaction. One woman used her massive influence to fiercely defend her image. The other appeared to lean into the drama to regain public attention. But beneath the surface of viral videos and leaked messages lies a more complicated reality. Women in the music industry still face overwhelming pressures. Rivalry among peers remains common, and emotionally charged conflicts like this, raw, deeply personal, and unresolved, are exactly the kind of content that fuels engagement online. Cardi may have left the dust behind, but the larger questions remain unanswered. Does stepping away from industry expectations make you a bigger target? And when fame starts to fade, is stirring controversy the only way some can stay in the conversation? The back and forth between Cardi and Hazel reveals more than a personal clash. It reflects the tough realities of modern celebrity culture, where drama often eclipses artistry. What's your take? Are these feuds authentic or just digital survival strategies? Drop your thoughts in the comments.